Lindsay Clancy, I don't know how to pronounce her name, it's spelled weird, and we're just gonna take a look at that. Posted by Actual Justice Warrior.
The Lindsay Clancy trial is going to be one of the most significant trials of your lifetime. We're all experiencing something completely unprecedented. Never before have we seen so many mothers and women rally behind somebody who confessed to killing her 3 children. And it is not because we cannot hold women accountable. Many of us see ourselves in Lindsay.
So there's an old saying that
I had to pause after just fucking hearing. Did I just hear that correctly? Her and a bunch of other women are standing behind this Lindsay person because they too feel the need to remove their children from the face of the earth. That is actually psychotic. I think these people need to be investigated immediately and have CPS knocking at their front door. Holy shit. I just can't get over that.
So there's an old saying that everybody loves a murder mystery, but what if you have a murder or a triple homicide and there is in fact no mystery behind it? What if you have a confession from the person who did it? What if you have her attorneys arguing in court that she did in fact do it? The prosecution is pretty damn sure that she did it. The evidence all points to this woman definitely doing it, and yet you have a bunch of people on the internet.com crafting a mystery around this, trying to make this into something that it's not, trying to blame the husband, who, by the way, was sent away as a part of this murder plot by Lindsay Clancy. Yes, is the story that we're talking about today. And yet still on the internet.com, you have people saying it's a murder mystery. In fact, the husband did it. They've solved the mystery. And yeah, this is yet another example of the vast mental illness that is going on in the true crime community. And by the way, this is very reminiscent of what is going on with the Charlie Kirk case, which is being promoted by Candace Owens. Just did a video, by the way, about the Andrew Wilson Candace Owens show of a debate on this channel. I'll link that in the description so you can get a little bit more on my thoughts on that. And yeah, this is the same exact thing. A lot of times these are the same exact audience members because these people are convinced that Lindsay Clancy absolutely did not do it, or if she did do it, then she was justified because women be depressed after they give birth. And yeah, it's horrific, it's disgusting, it's reprehensible, it's absolutely crazy, and yet it still goes on. And in fact, they're trying to raise $2 million for this woman yesterday when I checked, and it could be worse at this moment in time, but yesterday they were at $700,000, and this is all...
Oh my fucking Christ, dude, almost $1 million just to help this person who, by the way, chat, admitted to committing the crime. I remember seeing this a little bit on Twitter, okay? They're saying that she didn't do it, or the zodiac signs indicate that it was the husband that did it, or that it was postpartum depression. They could literally use the excuse that she was off her meds, because I'm pretty sure she was on medication, right? They could have just used the excuse for that, but instead they resorted to using zodiac signs because the husband was a Leo or something, and they say that Leos are killers, which is absolutely fucking retarded to hear. Anybody who believes a whole zodiac sign, they need to actually have their rights for vote. I'm sorry, you can't vote if you're using zodiac signs to determine a person's characteristics. She legit did it? Yeah, she did. She confessed to it, but in no way, shape, or form does this justify her action. 100%, it does not. If a dude did it, right, and had the same excuse, they were just gonna lock his ass up, they're gonna swallow the key, and nobody would think twice about it. But for some reason, because this chick did it, you know, I don't want to make this like the whole gender war thing, but it's kind of hard not to look at it to that degree. I think if both sides, you know, man, women, you know, if they did this, no, without a shadow of a doubt, equally, both of them should be locked up. I mean, if you ask me, that maybe they should get the chair or the firing squad so we're not wasting tax-paying dollars on this shit. But, you know, it's just hard to not look at it from a black-pilled perspective. Honestly, I'm not saying that she's justified in it at all, but postpartum depression actually can get terrible. I'm not saying it doesn't get terrible. That doesn't mean in any way, shape, or form is it justified. You know, if shit like that gets super bad, you need help. Without a shadow of a doubt, you need help. Remove yourself from the situation, get the husband involved or something like that. You gotta do something. Anything that isn't taking 3 lives, all right? 3 young lives of your own, by the way. From the sounds of it, you know, she's not going to be able to weasel her way out, seeing that she confessed. Who knows what the sentence may be? I don't know what it is, but if this video explains it, that'd be great.
Due to the fact that left-wing women on TikTok, true crime fanatics, true crime mystery engineers who have engineered a mystery where there was not one, have decided that Lindsay Clancy is either justified or secretly not guilty. So this is what we're going to talk about today. This is what we're going to discuss. But before we do, I want to thank everybody who supports this channel via actualjusticewarrior.com/join.
Give me the money. Give me the money, okay?
So I have to cut the audio of this because there's a copyrighted song, but for those of you who are listening to podcasts, they're saying that this woman is sitting in court while the real perpetrator, and the camera ends up panning to her husband who's testifying, is actually the one who's on the stand right now, and she is just forced to accept this. Now, of course, this is not reality, people. This is not what happened, and if you're unfamiliar with the Lindsay Clancy story and how much of a non-mystery it is, let me break it down for you. So Lindsay Clancy is a woman who, according to doctors, was experiencing some form of postpartum depression or postpartum psychosis. She was prescribed a bunch of different medications for that, in fact, an insane amount of medications for that, and there were warning signs prior to her committing the murders that she was going through some kind of mental issue. Now, whether you put any stock in that is irrelevant at this moment in time, but what you need to know is that her defense attorneys right now are not arguing for a not guilty by reason of insanity. They're actually arguing for mitigating factors based on the history that this woman had with mental issues after giving birth to her 3rd child. And by the way, if you guys are unfamiliar, Lindsay Clancy murdered all 3 of her children. And even though she was supposedly mentally ill, not of sound mind of judgment, she managed to get her husband out of the house by, I believe, making an order for food or something of the sort where he had to leave to go pick it up. And then she brought her 3 children down to the basement and strangled them one by one in brutal fashion while the other ones watched their siblings die. Then,
holy fuck, Jesus Christ, what the, she had to watch them get slimed one by one. Holy shit. Postpartum psychosis sounds about right. People that are backing this woman up might actually just be straight retarded. I just don't see how you could just sit there, hear all this. You know, and again, she wasn't denying it. The lawyers were denying it. You know, they're pleading insanity or something of the sort, right? I just don't understand how you could be fully standing behind this. I just don't get it. I don't understand. Some people, I believe, are upset because a lot of doctors and people don't take postpartum seriously, and that's why they relate to her. Not that they relate to wanting to kill their kids. I'm not too sure about that, Snap. And the reason why I say that is that you see a lot of posts on TikTok and Twitter of women saying very similar things when it comes to their kids. So if they were saying something about postpartum, that'd be one thing. But it was never specified at any point that they were talking about postpartum. That's why I say some people's have not all. Well, hey, you know, if you could find them, be my guest. But I haven't seen any of them mentioning postpartum. So feel free to send that in the server, prove me wrong. I'd be more than glad to see that. Regardless, it's one of those things that's just really fucked up. I just don't understand how people could stand behind that. If she wasn't in her right mind, if she was seeking help and didn't get help properly, it's not okay, but it doesn't make sense. Yeah, it is unfortunate that she couldn't get the proper help. From what I briefly saw, right, she had like 3 doctors or psychiatrists or whatever, and it wasn't enough to help her not commit acts of atrocity. Chat, I know some people are very good at hiding their issues, but can it really be that easy to hide your intentions on what you're going to be doing towards your own family, like towards your own blood? I don't know. I feel like there'd be some signs, right? Like even if it may be subtle or something. I don't know. I've never been put in this situation. So I can't really say for certain, but I mean, it's concerning nonetheless. The doctors and counselors knew they should be partly at fault. If they knew and they just allowed this to happen, then yeah, I agree they should be partly at fault here for not taking the proper actions to mitigate the situation from happening. But they're not going to get a slap on the wrist for even cocking up this bad.
Lindsay Clancy decided that she wanted to end her own life in a triple murder-suicide plot, so she jumped out of a second-story window and she was paralyzed, and from that moment in time, the true crime moms decided that she was a sympathetic figure, and it could not possibly be her fault, because how could we assign any responsibility for a horrific murder like this to the person who admittedly committed said murder? Now look, I could explain this in a much longer format. I could go over the finer details of the case. I could talk about what was used in the strangulation and all sorts of other things. I could talk about how much she is paralyzed and all those additional details, but the fact is, the people who are crafting the narrative that it was the husband and not Lindsay Clancy do not care about any of that information. In fact, a lot of these people are basing their assessment of guilt and innocence, and I'm not joking about this, their zodiac signs.
Oh my fucking god. Didn't we just talked about this? Holy shit. Zodiac signs is just one of those things where crazy chicks use that. Chat, how often do you see guys talking about zodiac signs? I don't know about you, but I don't think I've seen a single straight dude talk about zodiac signs. I just don't think that happens often, at least not online. Sympathetic, I can understand, but she did it. I don't know. I can only be sympathetic to her mental health, but that's about as far as my sympathy goes.
So according to them, Lindsay is a Leo mother. She was born with the moon rising in whatever field, I don't really care. And because Leo mothers don't kill their own children, and Gemini men, which by the way, her husband at the time was a Gemini man, or is a Gemini man, do kill their children. Therefore, Lindsay is innocent. And if you don't believe me, there are multiple videos breaking this down, and I'm just gonna play a little bit of them for you so you could see the insanity for yourself.
Okay, check this out. It's really crazy. Lindsay Clancy's birth chart. It's so crazy. Now, I don't have the time of birth, so really, you can disregard the ascendant, descendant, IC, MC, vertex, and all the houses. I need the birth time. So like not all of these aspects are necessarily true, because all those points, we don't really know. I just put it at noon. But first of all, let me just show. Okay, so notice anything here? She's got a North Node Aquarius, South Node Leo. She's in her nodal return right now.
It's been a while, but I have to pop on here just to say that I've been following this Lindsay Clancy trial, especially as a mother of two who dealt with a lot of postpartum mental illness. And, just following all their birth charts and birthdays and zodiac signs. He did it.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
He did it. He did it. He's a Gemini man. His birthday is June 15th. I'm a Gemini woman. My birthday is June 14th. Let me give you another example of who a Gemini man is. Also birthday June 14th.
Wait, so if she's admitting to be a Gemini, then is she also admitting that she's likely to become a murderer? This just doesn't make any fucking sense. No, look, Jack, I know I'm unemployed, but this is truly some unemployed shit right here. How are you going to tell me with a straight face that somebody admitted to committing a crime because of their zodiac sign? This is actually batshit insane. This is, holy fuck, this is, what do I even say about that?
Men and women are different. Keep that in mind. Please don't judge me. Donald Trump.
Oh my God, that actually just reminded me. Here's a really good example about how the whole zodiac sign and like the prediction crystal shit is actually a bunch of hoopla. A lot of women on TikTok were saying that Trump was gonna lose the election because they called in the star signs or some whatever they call it, right? And they lost their marbles when they found out they were wrong. Look no further than the election. That's all I have to say. I also remember seeing this one video on TikTok where this random guy was just going around the bar asking girls what their star signs are, and they would give out their star signs, and he's like, we're not compatible, or like, you're a problem. Just throwing the same shit back at them. I wish I could marry you, but you're a Leo or some shit. It's actually baffling how tight of a grip these people have regarding star signs and astrology in general. It's truly a concerning phenomenon, to say the least.
Patrick did it. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Now, I do appreciate.
We need to bring back public humiliation. Yes. We need to bring back shame. We need to bring back humiliation. We need to bring back bullying tenfold. We can't let these people with less than room temperature IQ to be roaming around voting. We need to rework the system here, all right? Because these people can vote. They can vote for policies that can absolutely destroy us because the vibes are off, or the stars told me to, or, you know, he's a Pisces or a Cancer, you know, it's just absolutely insanity. No, don't bring back bullying. No, we got to bring back bullying. Actually, bullying never left. It's just one side is doing it more than the other now.
Appreciate that second woman adding to the fact that these are mostly left-wing women that are involved in this by saying that Donald J. Trump, evil bad orange man, or Trump bad,
Simply hearing Trump bad.
Jesus.
was born on June 14th. Therefore, obviously, this proves that this guy is in fact the killer. Now, of course, she exempts herself from this. She's like, I'm a Gemini woman. That's completely different.
That's
I don't know if you
what
guys
I'm
are aware of
saying.
that. Obviously, the stars have aligned in such a way to make this woman exempt from her own craziness. But yeah, obviously, Patrick, the husband, he's the one who did it. And the proof is he was born on June 15th, and she's a Leo mom. And Leo moms always protect their cubs. And by the way, some people have tried to argue against this on their terms by saying that lions actually will kill their own cubs from time to time. But the fact is, you're trying to inject any kind of rationality into this thought process where it's no longer present. And by the way, if you think that that is the limits of the, oh my God, the stars indicate who's guilty and who's innocent, you're just wrong, because it keeps going on. And you'll see these comments all over the internet.
So if you're watching the Lindsay Clancy case, I've already gone over the forensic astrology charts that show that the perpetrator is a male, the perpetrator is having an affair, and that the victim,
Jesus fuck.
specifically Lindsay, was drugged during this. And I've also gone over with the theory and the lie detection.
So I like that this
The lie detection. Bitch, the fuck you mean the lie detection?
woman has forensic astrologer and death investigator as her two titles. Of course, death investigator is not an official title. She's just an idiot with a TikTok platform.
Oh my fuck. Death investigate. You know, Chad, that'd be a pretty good, if there was ever a class set up for phasmophobia, I think that'd be a pretty cool class. Death investigator. Well, I guess that's actually what we are when you're playing Phas. Now that I think about it.
Again, somebody who's trying to raise money for a murderous woman who murdered her 3 children and then tried to opt out of life but was too incompetent to do so by jumping out of a second-story window. And she's like, I've already broken all this stuff down. It's a long-running series, guys. I don't know if you guys know. It's kind of like the Candace Owens show. She's already given all this information on her podcast before, on her TikTok lives, and you just got to trust her, because as soon as she saw this man, as soon as she knew who he was and what his sign was and where his moon was rising, guess what? Obviously guilty.
I'm telling you all right now, when the South Node goes into Cancer in March of 2028, the South Node is going to transit over Patrick Clancy's moon in Cancer. He's going to be having eclipses over his natal moon.
Yeah, again,
Oh my god. I genuinely need to take a fucking break after watching this. My IQ is already plummeting watching this video. Just hearing these women talk about the zodiac signs and how, I could hear it through the death and forensic investigator or whatever the fuck. This is actually making me stupid hearing this. Yeah, do some math outside after this. Yeah, I'm gonna have to read a book after this stream. Holy.
I'm not an expert on astrology. I happen to have a functioning IQ. I happen to not be stupid like these women are. But these are the actual legitimate arguments that they're putting forward to say that Patrick was the killer and ignore the fact that this woman confessed to being the killer. Now, of course, there's also therapists, like I played at the open of this, that are saying, look, we all understand as women women exactly what she was going through, and it's just understandable on a part of womanhood that sometimes you kill all 3 of your children and then try to kill yourself, and then the internet says it was your husband.
Yeah, Chad, that's normal, right? That's a normal thing to feel, right?
Many of us know that we could have been only one step away from doing some of those horrific things because we experienced significant mental health issues after one of our children was born. And many of us know just how dark some of those thoughts get. So yeah, this is gonna be one of the most significant trials of your lifetime.
But yeah, this is the broad mental illness in the true crime community. And by the way, I actually experienced this firsthand when I took my wife to CrimeCon in Nashville a couple of years ago. And I actually sat in on panels with women like this and noticed how insane they are. Because no matter what the case was, no matter what the facts of the case was, they were trying to actively engineer a mystery. No matter what the topic, when they were prompted to ask questions to the people doing the panel, without fail, they would allege some kind of police conspiracy or some kind of conspiracy of some sort being the true thing behind the case. That was the subject of the conversation. And even though this didn't make any sense to anybody who's thinking rationally, all the other women, and this was majority older women with Nancy Grace haircuts or the cut from John and Kate plus 8, they would be like, oh yeah, that's such a good idea. That's such an amazing idea. And that's when I learned firsthand that these women exist. They are in full force. They are not just online. They will show up to events in person, and they're just as crazy, if not more crazy, when you're around them and actually talk to them. Also, at one of these events, they ended up shipping in a wine cart to the back of the room, and they announced it, and all these women got up to rush to get the wine. And the other thing that I learned about them is that they're too slow. Middle-aged women can't keep up, because I was able to blitz all them bitches, grab wine for me and for my wife so that we could get the wine, and I was just really unimpressed by their speed. No athleticism among this group, as well as crazy conspiracy minds among all of them. And again,
if they consume true crime stuff and or smut, then, chances are they definitely drink a lot of wine. I've witnessed that plenty of times before. I do not doubt it for even a second, that being the case.
Really need you guys to understand that these women are turned on by the idea of a conspiracy. True crime is their whole life, and by the way, making true crime more interesting is an intricate part of their obsession with true crime. And these are the same exact people that back all the innocence fraud cases. Again, we talked about all the crazy conspiracies they follow based on the Innocence Project directing them in that direction. They're the same people that, again, in large part are obsessed with the idea that Tyler Robinson did not kill Charlie Kirk. And yeah, this is a reprehensible side of humanity. It's absolutely disgraceful. And again, without pause, without hesitation, these women with professions, some of them are absolutely crucial, including therapists, including people who deal with children, including mothers, will say that they totally understand Lindsay Clancy if they believe that she was guilty, but she is justified because of what she was going through mentally, or they'll say that she's innocent and it was definitely the man because they can't assign accountability to a woman for her actions, no matter what. And yes, this is very troubling. This is something that should be concerning, and I just want to remind you that in this case, there is no ambiguity about the facts of the case, about who did it. Again, Lindsay Clancy admits to doing it. Her lawyers are arguing that she did it, but it should be mitigated. The evidence shows that she did it. The husband says that she did it. The prosecution, the police, everybody involved says that she did it, and yet they're still trying to create a mystery around this. They're still trying to get her off. They still want her to be free because, oh my God, how could we ever hold a woman accountable for murdering 3 of her children, for intricately planning the murder of all 3 of her children? Now, of course, that's my opinion. That's my speculation. I know a lot of you are thinking out there that those are false allegations and not facts.
False allegations and not facts.
Because, of course, obviously, the zodiac signs show us something completely different.
Which is home, family, emotions, his emotional life. And then it gets better. 2029, all the way into 2030, he is going to have eclipses over his Gemini placements. The South Node is going to move over his Sun, his Mercury retrograde, his Venus retrograde. It's about to get real interesting in the next, 3 to 4 years for him. I'm grabbing my popcorn. I can't wait for this man to be humbled and for karma to do its thing.
But for those of us who are sane, for those of us who are rational-minded individuals, this is a plague. This is a problem in the United States of America. These people will end up on juries. They will be dissecting evidence in these cases in all sorts of ridiculous ways, and some very violent and dangerous individuals will be released back onto the streets due to the fact that these idiots are an ever-growing aspect of our society that we have to figure out how to deal with. But you know what? Those are just my thoughts. I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. As usual, if you like this video, show them by leaving a like, subscribe for more content, follow me on my social medias, support me via the support links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about how Lindsay Clancy became the hero of the mentally ill TikTok wine moms. Till next time.
Holy fuck, that was an info dump of the case going on. I'm actually kind of disappointed that there was no mention how there are some women that don't defend Lindsay's action. I'm kind of sad that wasn't mentioned out there because I know it's not all women, but it's really hard to not see it that way given how many people, or I guess in this case, how many women are running to her defense, saying that she did nothing wrong. But, you know, at the end of the day, bitches be crazy. Zodiac signs don't actually tell you anything. And hopefully proper justice will be served. I mean, for crying out loud, God himself can come down from the heavens, say that she actually committed the acts of atrocity, and they will still somehow do backflips while turning themselves into a pretzel and deny that that was ever the case. But what are you gonna do, right? Yeah, several people can change your views on things. It's really discouraging at times because I know not all women are batshit crazy and hate all men. I know that's not the case. Just like how not all men are batshit crazy and hate all women, all right? Because, you know, if there's one side, there's the other. But this is going to be some tinfoil hat, right? But because of how the algorithm works, they're like feeding people things that is very discouraging and leads them to double down on their beliefs. This is how you generate crazy people or people unfit for a normal society. These people are real. Sometimes you want to believe this only exists online, but they're real. They're real, and it's concerning, to say the least. I feel, oh yeah, get some snacks. Get some snacks. Snacks are important too. Go. You know, after watching that video, I might just have to take some medication. Because holy fuck, dude. The fucking zodiac signs actually got me fucked up.